HexOS? Do we dive right into it?
Really?
You want more buffer?
Let's do it. No, do it.
Okay,
do it, you cowards.
Okay. Where'd it go?
All right.
There it is. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah. Why don't?
Okay.
Well, actually, okay. Well, hold on a second. These are not WAN show notes.
Okay.
These are part of Chewy's weekly community sentiment report that he sends to the exec team.
Okay.
So they're not really structured like WAN show notes.
Yes.
Would you like me to do it?
I can riff, or we can both riff.
Go for it.
Whatever you want to do.
Go for it.
Feedback from HexOS stuff was notably negative. I think is from just completely my point of view. I think some of it's valid. I'll even talk about my involvement in some of the comments there that I think were valid. People are comparing it to the kickoff of the framework.
Oh wait,
investment.
hold on. Sammy's in the chat telling us we're supposed to do the second topic. No. All right, Dan.
Speaking of
Luke.
Speaking of custom-made jacket that took tons of hours and company effort to make, let's discuss the backlash about HexOS. So as I said, there was a bunch of backlash. A lot of people were comparing it to the kickoff. I'm not going to say launch, but the kickoff of the floatplane investment and the kind of care that was put into the communication around that. And I think
framework, but yes.
What did I say? Floatplane? Yeah, I meant framework. And I think some of the comments are pretty valid.
Well, yeah, tell us.
I don't know if they're detailed in here. Okay, so I'll go over some of the feedback from the people who, it says, feedback from those who hate all of this boils down to the following. So they don't understand who this is for when other free options exist that they deem are better. They hate the price for a, in quotes, TrueNAS skin. They don't like paying to participate in a beta. They don't like paying for future promises, and they don't like that we didn't show alternatives in the video. The one that I think stood out to me the most that I think we probably did say, I didn't watch the whole video. I read some of the comments.
Nice.
But I'm more looking at my own participation in this.
Sure.
And I would have liked to have caveated this a little bit more myself, is the not paying for future promises. Now, there is I don't remember the duration, but there's a amount of time that if you don't like it, you can get your money back.
30 days.
So that's why I bought it, is because I don't know. Yeah, sure, there's future promises, but I'll try it. And if I'm happy with it, I'll keep it. And if I'm not happy with it, I'll get my money back. So I wasn't that worried about it.
Maybe you did the thing again.
What thing?
You jumped straight to where I was going to end up at the very end of the topic.
Okay, well, my bad. But that's essentially where I was going to go with it, was but will you be accepted to the beta in 30 days? I don't know. If you're not, just get your money back.
Yeah, the time doesn't start until you are accepted to the beta. So it's 30 days after that.
Yeah, even if it didn't, if you weren't, just get your money back. Yeah, so I wasn't, and I would assume, and I'm pretty sure on the assumption that no one here was saying that you should buy it for sure, no matter what, especially based on future promises that may or may not happen. Buy it if you want it. The rest of it, they hate that they have to pay the price for what is, in quotes, a TrueNAS skin. I mean, if you don't want it, don't get it.
I mean, I have a counterpoint to that one as well. I mean, I hate paying for macOS. It's a Unix skin.
So your point is that it's theoretically derivative enough that
my point is that everything is derived from something. And I actually see it being based on TrueNAS as an absolute win.
A good thing.
Not only is it based on TrueNAS, but they have a partnership with X Systems, who is the maintainer of TrueNAS. They have an investment from X Systems. These products are fundamentally intertwined. They are financially intertwined going forward. It's a really good thing. TrueNAS, if they weren't based on TrueNAS, I probably would not have given them a dime.
People are like, I don't fully understand why everyone's so spicy about this. I understand some of the comments, but not all of them. People are playing with the words a little bit in ways that is probably right. Someone said it's not based on TrueNAS. It is TrueNAS. It's running on TrueNAS. There's more UI and stuff in front of it. If that has value to you, cool. If it doesn't, don't get it. Like it's.
But you can draw a lot of parallels. How exact or inexact they are is sort of up to you. I mean, should we not pay for software that runs on another platform? Should we not do that? Like, should I not buy Photoshop because it like runs on Windows? Should I not? And that's not a perfect parallel.
Yeah, it's a bit far.
But should I not? Okay, here's a better one. Should I not pay for window blinds back in the day to like customize windows? I could just change my desktop wallpaper like some other way.
Oh, you mean okay?
Yeah, no, window blinds. The point is just that it's software. It does something, right? Should I not buy plugins that add functionality to something that I already own? Should I? It's something that does something. And if that something is not worth anything to you, then by all means. The one that I'll push back really hard on is that we didn't show alternatives in the video. We absolutely talked about alternatives in the video.
Oh.
We talked about Unraid, which is where the founders of the HexOS team came from.
Yeah.
We weren't going to avoid that, right? We talked about... we talked about just running TrueNAS. We talked about how if HexOS implodes, at the end of the day, you'll still be running TrueNAS. We did talk about that. But it's one of those things where if people don't watch the whole video, and it was a long video, I don't even blame people for not watching the whole video. All I ask is that if you didn't watch the whole video, just don't be outraged about it.
Yeah.
People don't like paying to participate in a beta. I think that is... I think that's absolutely valid.
Just don't do it then. I have been needing to replace. I have this Synology NAS, which was honestly great for a really long time.
Yeah,
but it's been a really long time. I've had the same Synology NAS, and it's been working great this whole time. Which, if anything, is a testament to Synology. But I've had the same Synology NAS since 2013. It's time. I need something different. That thing's getting pretty slow at this point in time. So I've known I'm like overdue for a NAS upgrade for a while. And I thought this would be kind of a fun adventure to go down. If I try it and don't like it, I'll refund it and do something else. I'm going to build a NAS anyways.
Yep.
It's time. So like, I'm going to give it a shot. I haven't had time to actually try it yet. I did receive my invite to the beta. So I'll give it a shot and we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah. So the other ones, oh, shoot. Where was the thing? My problem is it's exactly what I'm looking for. The issue. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this one, Dango Tech says, the issue is it's marketed as an OS, but under it, it's not an OS, but it's an overlay of TrueNAS. And you know what? I think that's a fair point. By the same logic, SteamOS is not an OS. It's an overlay of Arch Linux.
Who cares? On Arch?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I mean, come on, it's Valve. Wouldn't they be chatted enough to be Arch users? Come on, please.
Fair enough.
Please. So, are you going to tell me SteamOS is not an OS?
Chrome OS is an OS then.
Sure it is.
Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm reading comments.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I don't think anyone's forcing anybody to buy it, and it was never designed for people that know all the inner workings of TrueNAS.
There's no shot we would run this at work. At any point, it's not going to run for Linus Media Group's NAS. It's not going to run for Flowplane's NAS.
Don't we use TrueNAS?
Yeah, but we're not going to run HexOS.
Oh, why not?
Because why? We don't need the layer.
Okay.
We have full-time people to do it. It's just it's.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
sure.
It's. I wouldn't put it personally from what I know about it. To me, it makes sense for me at home because I honestly don't want to mess with my NAS that much.
Sure.
And I would like it to be very easy to set things up. And if I need to go change something, I would like it to be very easy. I'm prioritizing easy and smooth and clean and easy.
Sure.
It's at work where a lot of times, you want to get some of that stuff out of the way and focus on just power. It's like, okay, cool.
Sure. I mean, we'll see. Depending on some of the functionality that they build, we might have a machine sort of regardless of how you feel about it. because I was thinking it'd be kind of cool.
But that's a different thing. I know you're planning for that. That's a different thing.
Oh, the buddy backup thing.
Yeah, that's a completely different thing.
Okay, then that's fine. Because I was like, if you're going to tell me like I can't put it on the info because it's like...
That's not my point.
I was going to be like, really, Luke? I mean, why does it matter? It literally is TrueNAS under the hood.
Yeah.
It's but what I want to do is I want to have like buddy backup as a perk.
Fine.
And you know what? I don't want to. This is not something.
What I'm saying is, we're not going to take our like current production machines and flip it over.
Oh, there'd be no reason to do that. They already work.
This is my.
I understand.
Yeah.
So the buddy backup thing, I just want to make it clear to any employees who are watching. This is not a commitment. If it like balloons in cost and it's like ridiculous, then we might not be able to do the buddy backup thing, or it might be like very limited or whatever. But it's something that I wanted to try. I wanted to be like, could we be like, LMG cloud storage? Internal only, and could it be done easily? And
like potentially legal problems and stuff. But
you think so?
We'll maybe figure that out. Yeah, if somebody at work was storing something bad,
we've talked about this before.
On our hardware,
it's encrypted. We don't know what it is.
Yeah, is that enough? Do you know?
I suspect so. Yeah.
Okay, if it's enough, then sweet. I don't technically know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are saying they don't like paying for future promises, and that's
so don't buy it.
Totally valid.
Or buy it and try it, and if it's what you want now, then keep it, and if it's not, then get a refund.
Yeah.
Or look at the current feature list, and if it's what you want now with what they have now, then get it, and if not, wait.
And that's why we said explicitly that it's in a very early state right now, and that's why the price is lower.
I think we might have overhyped the. I was rather excited about the price discount. Oh, it's $100. That's normally $300. That's really cool. And I think that might have the balance of communication, because I'm pretty freaking sure that at least last WAN show, I think I said don't buy based on future features at least once. But I think the balance of communication of like, oh, the price is exciting, I'm going to buy it right now, versus the one-liner of don't buy on future features might not have been enough.
I don't think we got to pricing until the end of the video.
Talking WAN show last week.
Oh, WAN show. Sure.
I'm purely talking about my own participation.
Got it. Yeah, I think that's fair. The fact that you have 30 days to cool down and think about it, though, I think helps a lot.
I really think that helps a lot. That's why I wasn't that bothered by it.
And I don't know. Like I said, we went out of our way to show and talk about that it's not perfect yet. And I think part of it too is that people forget how much software used to cost back when lifetime licenses were a thing. So the people who are looking at the $300 lifetime license going, well, that's ridiculous. It should be, and they're just pulling a number out of their rectum and throwing it at their screen. Like that's not how pricing works. Pricing works by the people who work on it need to be paid, and that's like how much it costs. And if that product is ultimately not competitive in the marketplace, then people won't pay that price, and then those people will have to go find another job. That's how it works. And so that's the price that it costs for a lifetime license. And like I was adamant with these guys that they need to have a lifetime option. I didn't think that...
I would have never jumped in if it was monthly.
I didn't think that the world needed another subscription-only service, but it's very clear that from the reaction to that $300 price that it will ultimately make its way to as it gets to release, that a lot of people are not amenable to paying $300 for software, even if they will use it forever, asterisk. That a lot of people will prefer a subscription model, and I think that's fine. Ultimately, that's probably better for their business model.
Krusty Trombone said, "I'm totally fine with $100 to $300 price, and I'm totally fine with paying that. What matters to me is I own the thing I pay for." And I think, if I can go on a limb here, that they're referring to the like always online thing.
Oh, yeah. So that's fine. By the time 1.0 comes out, I have a personal cross my heart, hope to die guarantee from John that the local dashboard will work.
What is the timeline of 1.0? Do you know?
That I don't know.
Yeah, because if that's not in, that is technically, as much as you have that promise to anyone else.
Yep.
That's not.
Then it's just words.
That's a future feature.
And that's fine. Then they should wait.
Yeah.
Then they should wait, and they should buy it when that's out.
Yeah.
And then it will be whatever price it is when that happens. Totally valid.
Not okay. Yeah.
It's 100% valid.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's another reason, honestly, for me that I would not buy it, because that an always online dashboard for a NAS is like just not even sort of okay.
I told John the same thing.
Yeah.
I told John the same thing. The plan was always to have it. He did not communicate that very clearly, but the plan was to launch it without it. And that was true. Their plan was to get to 1.0 with always online and then add it later. There's
the
local only dashboard later. Okay. But now the community has made it very clear. And also when he communicated that to me at the same time, he was like, hey, like, are they totally on base with this? And I was like, yes. They stepped it up. They moved it up in the roadmap to make sure that they could do that.
Cool.
I am very warm, Langley, man. This is going to need to come off pretty soon. I am going to be sweating buckets in this thing. It is flipping warm. Thank you for asking.
It is really cool, though. You should do some like techno snowman Halloween costume next year.
One of the notes that Chewy put in the hold on, I should probably like redact these or something. I'll just read them out, I guess then. One of the notes that Chewy put in the community report is that some conspiracy theories around this one are intense. This is a post on Reddit. There seems to be more to the Linus HexOS relationship that is made clear in my personal opinion.
Ooh.
I'm comparing the reporting in recent video to when the Framework investment happened. With Framework, he repeatedly stated the downsides for some people and repeatedly stated when something was a future promise and to not take Framework's word for it even though he's an investor. This seems different. This one says, this was my impression too. There's such a stark difference between how they're being hype managed. As it is right now, it's no different than the cleaning robot. I don't see how the semantics of falling back on TrueNAS. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you other than I think in the launch video, I made it very, very, very clear that it's early days. I am excited about it. I'm very excited about it. One difference here that I will acknowledge is that unlike Framework, I actually know the people working on this. That's a big difference.
That might shift that. I will say the comments about the communication between this one and I keep wanting to say Flowplane, between this one and Framework being different, I think are fair. If I try to step back and like vibe check both of them, there is a difference there. So I can understand how someone might notice it. I do think maybe, calm down a little bit, but I understand where that's coming from, and that's where I was trying to where he says like, oh, he repeatedly said this, he repeatedly said that. I think that's what I was trying to say with at least again my involvement, what I saw on WAN show stuff like that. It was like the balance of what was said was slightly shifted, or more notably shifted. I don't know. I didn't measure it.
Zach Craig says early days, but we have to pay to be a beta tester. #gross.
Yeah, so just don't do it.
You don't. But you won't be a beta tester then.
Which is also fine.
Which is also totally fine. You can do it later. Or you can not. Maybe it's not for you, and maybe we did the math recently on Adam teaching himself to water cool versus buying a super expensive water cooled GPU. So maybe you could pay yourself $25 an hour or whatever, and you could spend 12 hours learning TrueNAS.
Or you're trying to get into IT and you want your home lab to better mirror your setup, or it's specifically a home lab for learning. I would not be setting up my NAS as a home lab for learning at all.
I built mine to do that.
The opposite of the goal. Yeah.
I duplicated it to the same system that we run here so that I could break it in a safe environment.
Yeah, Sean does the same thing.
Exactly.
Super cool. And
Proxmox, TrueNAS Scale, upgrading TrueNAS to TrueNAS Scale in production with all of my data.
Sick. Yeah. So but it's a completely different use case. I respect it highly, but it's a completely different use case.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Panda says, do they need an influx of cash? It feels like a low entry lifetime price makes the later adopters pay more and is less sustainable overall. Yeah, they need cash.
As someone who's
nailed it.
Completely detached from it, software developers are expensive. They've been building this in quiet for 2 years?
2 years. And I disclosed the amount that I invested. Luke, I'll ask you a question. We know how much I invested. It is $250,000 US.
How long is that going to stretch with devs?
How long is that? Is that going to go past 2 years on any planet?
No.
Realistically, are they probably in it themselves at this point as well.
Oh, unquestionably.
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
Neat. Thanks, Luke.
I don't even know the team size.
Good interview. Yeah, doesn't matter.
It's just true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, at the end of the day, there's a lot of folks that are super upset about it, and I think some of the criticisms are valid, and hopefully we've tried to address some of those. I do think, reflecting on it, I think the biggest difference is that I actually know what these guys are about,
that makes sense.
and I've seen them do work before. Whereas with Framework, I literally, other than knowing the guy was like former, what was it, Facebook VR team or something like that, or Oculus or something. I can't even remember Nurav's background right now. I know him now.
I'm pretty sure it was Oculus.
And I've seen him execute now.
Well, I mean, those are sort of the same thing.
So it'd be a different situation now. But then I didn't know him from Adam. Like, I had no idea who he was. So that's really, really different. I was just like, I literally heard about Framework, like unboxing the laptop, and I was like, this is super cool. I want in.
Well, and like the comments of like, oh, it feels different compared to the Framework launch. I remember some of the, like, one of the things you said was like, oh, I think I told them like the second that if they go down the route of not being whatever it was, highly replaceable. I don't remember exactly what you said. I'm going to quote you wrong. But if they go down the route of ditching the highly replaceable nature of things, I'll just like abandon them immediately. Like there was like almost threats involved and stuff like that. Like it was very, very cleanly stated.
But I didn't know who they were.
Totally, I get it. I'm just saying, like, that's where when people are comparing the two, I do think it's quite a difference.
I think that makes sense.
Which is going to raise some questions.
Whereas John, I've worked with / seen him execute on things since he helped with 7 Gamers 1 CPU 8 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty confident. Also, in the last couple of years, on a shoestring budget, they have gotten to where they are now, which is pretty exciting. And to anyone who looks at the UI and is like, all they did was put a UI layer on top of it, go for it.
Yeah.
Do it. I saw so many people that were like, this should be free and open source. And I couldn't help it. I replied to a couple of them. Are you the project lead? I look forward to downloading it. No, not necessarily, guys, not necessarily. And if it doesn't have a value to you, I think the most important thing is just you don't need to buy it. The good news is the people for whom the product was designed and the people who understood the value for them, right? Who found the value for themselves, they love it. It was an absolutely incredible beta announcement weekend for the Eshtec team. And we're fine. Okay, good. Yeah, it was an absolutely incredible beta launch for the Eshtec team. They are operating comfortably for quite some time, and I am now extremely confident that they are going to get to that 1.0 milestone without any difficulty, and I'm actually pretty stoked right now.
Is there someone in Flowplane chat quoted it? It was the if they fall back on their promises, it would be a very public breakup. Is there any line that would cause that here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys would expect that if anything changed, if I pulled investment money out, I would update you guys. If they screwed up the product,
what would that line be?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because with Framework, the mission was really clear.
Exactly.
It was to make highly replaceable, upgradable devices in the interest of less waste.
What is the user story that you're most excited about with HexOS?
The one that I think I care about the most is Buddy Backup, because offsite backup is the one that I still can't get away from a subscription on. Whereas if I want to put a little NAS box in a relative's closet and use it as a backup target, and it can store an encrypted copy, or more of a buddy arrangement, hey, you've got a NAS, I've got a NAS.
Yeah.
Why don't we each share some space for, critical backups? And with some way to kind of...
It's mine. Sorry.
Oh, okay. And some way to allocate, some way to allocate that space, and some way to keep it safe. Because just because I trust you as a friend doesn't mean I trust you to snoop through my files.
My stuff, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I kind of laid out very clearly with the team was that my expectation was that Buddy Backup would not be a metered service, and it would not be something that would require a subscription fee, because that's the whole point, is I don't want to pay that subscription fee. I want to have the option to buy a lifetime license, to buy my hardware, to own my stuff, and just be able to synchronize stuff. And it's all doable. It's just not as easy. It would be easier if they handled routing everything, because then you don't have to worry about firewalls and port forwarding and any of that stuff.
So Buddy Backup without heavy configuration.
And without a subscription.
Is
absolutely basic expectation for me.
And a offline login control panel thing.
Oh yeah, but that I'm not worried about that. If they didn't execute that would be a red line though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
We got some. Hopefully that makes some people feel better. I don't know. I'm trying.
Like, does that work for you guys? Are you good?
I don't know. Maybe.
Let's see. I'll never feel better, says dyslexic stoner 240.
Oh man.
This has to come off now.
Yeah.
I'm so warm. All right, Dan, what are we supposed to do?
One quick second. Someone brought up a quick, what I thought was actually a pretty good question about the HexOS thing. The Buddy Backup, would the Buddy have to be a HexOS target? So it has to be HexOS on each end. Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't expect them to try to figure out how to
The option they were saying
replication's
was someone who just has true NAS and not HexOS.
I don't see. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? No way. HexOS isn't just a skin on TrueNAS. No, they're actually building stuff on top of TrueNAS. But while HexOS will contain everything TrueNAS is, TrueNAS will not necessarily contain everything that HexOS is.
Yeah, we'll see.
And that doesn't mean that you couldn't configure TrueNAS to do something like that. You absolutely could. You could do it today. But I don't feel like figuring it out.
Yeah, my plan for if it works this way, I'm hoping it works this way. My plan for my family would be not actually Buddy Backup. It would just be that they have user accounts on my NAS, and they just use it remotely for storing files.
How are you going to do encryption and stuff though?
Probably some type of zero trust type solution.
This sounds super manual.
Yeah, it might be.
Okay, cool.
I wasn't necessarily expecting them to do it.
Yeah. I mean, Buddy Backup is sort of architected on 3-2-1 principles.
Yeah, totally. All I'm saying is I'm not expecting my whole family to want to have a NAS in each one of their houses.
Sure.
If they do, then sick, but probably not. So I'll try to give them some, they have their own encrypted folder.
So basically you want so if you were to design so it would be basically a network mapped drive for them.
Yeah.
But it would go to a folder that lives on your NAS over the internet and is encrypted to you, but decrypted. They'd need a client app then, basically, to handle the encryption and decryption, the authentication for it. There's no way they wouldn't have to have a client app on their PC.
Maybe.
I think they would.
Maybe
I'm wrong, though. Maybe there's a really clever way to do that. I think that would be super cool. But like I said, Buddy Backup, in my mind, was kind of built on 3-2-1 principles. So you'd have your copy.
Oh, no.
Your copy.
This is not.
And your offsite copy.
This is not Buddy Backup.
So I intended for there to be a NAS at every point where a Buddy Backup link
I've
could
done
be made.
something very similar to this in the past. It wasn't exactly the same, but it's very similar. Using, TrueCrypt at the time.
I remember TrueCrypt.
And then they would just manually every time open and close their own folder. Wasn't awesome, but it worked.
Fun fact, our accounting used to be done like that. Like our confidential documents folder was just a TrueCrypt folder.
Yep.
For a really long time, actually.
TrueCrypt
like,
was cool until it wasn't.
long after it was like not cool anymore, we were still using it. I can say that now that we
Aren't doing that anymore.
aren't doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Oh boy.
Sorry. We're never going to move on from this topic. Taybeck in Floatplane chat, with this buddy backup feature and Linus pushing it, can he ever be really critical of Apple again? And then I almost had a seizure.
What?
I don't know. Yes, for sure.
No, he loses all complaints about any company ever.
I'm sure there's a thought process. We just don't understand.
You give everybody too much credit.
No.
I think my brain almost like genuinely faulted
No.
because I was trying to like figure it out, and